Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Say Like It Is with your boy Franklin. Right, this particular video is actually a request for one of my viewers. It's basically saying, is it okay to rent or buy your home abroad? Right, so I got an email a couple of days ago, and then the gentleman was asking if I could do a video about that. So I said, oh yeah, why not? Well, this one is a very straightforward one. Okay, first of all, the issue of home or accommodation, the roof over your head, I think is tied to where you probably call home, at the present moment. But then I'm going to flesh this out and look at this from the perspective of, being a diaspora. So as an African and someone who's got African roots and stuff like that. So, is it okay to rent or buy? Of course it's okay to rent, if renting meets your need for now. A lot of this, ties into your earning capability and your status, where you're living and stuff like that. It's also a fantastic idea to buy, which is getting a mortgage. And usually, like I live here in the UK, a mortgage, a few factors tie into it. You need a stable job, you need a good credit rating, and then you make an application to the bank. If the bank is satisfied, you tick all boxes, and then they say, okay, you need to pay X amount of money, monthly. And before you can call yourself a main owner of your property, that mortgage needs to be totally paid off. So what it means is, if you take out a mortgage and your property is worth X amount of money, there's usually interest on top of it and stuff, and then it might be spread out for like 20 to 25 years. So what it means is, if you're paying your mortgage for like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and then something happens, you lose your job or somebody dies or whatever, and basically the monthly mortgage payment stops going to the bank has got the power to reclaim that, or let me say repossess that property, and then you pretty much lose it. So that brings your ownership to an end. Well, what happens is, if depending on the value of the property at the time, the bank will more than likely sell the property, and then after removing all their legal fees and whatever charges on interest and everything you're owing, arrears and stuff, then they might then turn around and say, okay, you have X amount of money left, and this is your this is your X amount of money that you have left. But in most cases, these things don't end that way, because they will leave you out of pocket, and it's really devastating if you've paid so much into something and then you're left with an empty pocket at the end of the day. This is the harsh reality. So, like I say, this is unique to each person or each individual, or if you're a couple, if you're a family. Most people, for example, that live abroad, we have tons of people that rent because that's what you can afford. But then again, renting in most major cities, if you can pay, maybe like in London, you can pay £1,500 a month in rent, you can affordably pay that. Then you can also find properties where your mortgage is about £1,500 a month, right? So it's advisable to say, okay, why not get on the property ladder and then own the property. But then again, there are a few factors. For some people living abroad, we all have different goals. There are some Africans actually who they're not interested in going back home. As I say in Yoruba, I'm a believer in, you can retire back to Africa and all that stuff. And, Africa is a place where you can really, really flourish. Their abroad life, as we've always said, there's always a glass ceiling, there are limitations. But there are some people who really don't want to go back to where they came from. They may choose to die here, and that's it. They want to retire in the system abroad, whether UK, US or whatever. So those people now, they have a totally different mindset. So if you really want to live the next 20, 30, 40 years of your life and die abroad, then it might be a wise idea to buy, get a mortgage, and hopefully you be able to pay it off in 25 years and own, that property outrightly. You can then call it your own. The advantage of building in Africa is you are able to then buy a piece of land, and you build. It might take you 2, 3, 4 years, however long to build, but once it's built and done, you own it. You are the landlord, it belongs to you. But then the challenge for people that live abroad is, if you build a home in Africa and you're not prepared to move back, then you have challenges whereby You might have families, living in your property, not looking after it properly or taking advantage, and you're not even there to enjoy, that labor, the work, and everything you've done to build that property. And also, some people actually build a home in Africa, and then they rent it out, hoping that, whilst they're here, they're getting revenue, which is a fantastic idea. It also comes with challenges. Hopefully you get good tenants or good estate agents. There are loads of unscrupulous estate agents, like for example in Nigeria, that they will take advantage of the fact that you're not on ground, and they lie to you. You won't get your money. There's a lot of headache. It's not the case for everybody, right? There are people who own properties back in Africa, and they're doing well with like rent, getting money off it every year and stuff. And then even if you decide to move back, you have a place you can move to. But going back to the abroad life, what you've got to bear in mind, which is a simple fact, is in most cases you own nothing until you've paid it off. You own nothing. The cars, brand new cars, most 9.9 out of 10 times you go to the car dealership because you've got a good credit rating. You're paying a car note or car finance, like we call it in the UK. You're paying monthly. It might be £250 a month on that lovely BMW. It might be £350 a month. It might be £600 a month on that lovely Range Rover. In Nigeria, in most African countries, people buy outrightly. And of course, that comes to that you've got to have a good income, good business, good money to be able to buy. Even if it's a 2009 Toyota Camry or 2010 Toyota Highlander, whatever, people tend to just buy outrightly, which it's a beautiful thing, because you own that thing outrightly. You're not indebted to anybody. You're not paying back any loans or any borrowed money and stuff like that. You understand me? So with living abroad, renting or buying, it's really up to the individual. But from my point of view, if I was going to basically take this conversation in the direction of, if you have a tie in Africa, if you'd love to retire in Africa and stuff like that, I think if you can, it's a beautiful thing to probably limit your expenditure here and be able to build back home. That's if you intend to retire back home at some point, if that makes sense. Because we're getting properties here, like I said earlier. It's nice to own a property, and one of the advantages, if I can add very quickly, is if you've got kids, if you do pass away, you get old, you pass away and stuff, you can leave, it's an asset. But it becomes an asset. Usually you can sell off, a property that you're still paying mortgage on. You can actually remortgage. You might be able to draw equity from that property and then use that equity to perhaps, and one of the ways that people also make money off properties abroad is when you do buy to let. It's got its own challenges too, but buy to let is when you buy a property and then you convert it to such a way whereby you can have 2-3 tenants in the property, and then their rent is pretty much paying your mortgage, and then you have a few hundreds might be set aside, which you can use towards maintenance and also a bit of profit and benefits for you. So it's great. It's got its benefits. But like I say, for someone who just wants to say, okay, a home where you lay your head and say, this is where I live, there are tons of people that say they've got mortgage. But like I say, before you can say I own this house, that mortgage has got to be paid off in full. If not, that house belongs to the bank. The same thing with cars. People drive a brand new car. You own it for like 2 years, or depending on the arrangement, it might be a finance agreement that you got for 2 years. That shiny BMW, that shiny Audi, that shiny Honda and stuff doesn't belong to that guy. Unfortunately, it's the way the system is designed, because a brand new car that's actually worth about £40,000. No average Joe Block has got 40,000. Even businessmen don't do it, because cars are not exactly assets, right? You'd rather put money in a business or in like properties and stuff like that. So anyway, that's me. It's up to you. You're the one to decide. If you're thinking of, it's nice. I'm an African. I would always be pro Africa. So if you can do something back home, if you can have investment back home, if you can build a home back home, as long as you're going to be able to enjoy that property, or maybe some even build and sell off, or hopefully retire, hopefully pass it on to your children and wife, or maybe for your extended family, whatever, it's a fantastic idea. So that's me done. What do you think? If you're living abroad, would you prefer to just rent and buy, or own, get on a mortgage ladder, or what do you think? Anyway, it's your boy Franklin. That's that. To the gentleman that asked me to do this topic, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for giving me a video suggestion. If you're watching this, if you've got any topic that you'd like me to research or work on or discuss or talk about, feel free to leave a comment below or send me an email to the email address below. All right, it's your boy Franklin, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.